I'd say that our skylight is having a failure.
And then the skylight over the shower. And this max air cover is wiped out. And we take the new one and put it on there.
In our last video, we showed you the massive 2-hour hailstorm that we got caught in near Albuquerque, New Mexico just 2 weeks ago.
Many of you commented on last week's episode on how calm we seemed while all this was happening. It had been a long travel day from northern New Mexico, and honestly, we were just tired.
Plus, what can you do when there's lightning all around you except stay safe? And also, I did pour some wine.
And getting upset would only take more of a toll on us and not really help the situation.
So actually, I was pretty proud of how well Jamie handled the whole event. He does get really pissed off when he's actually fixing things, and sometimes we show that in the videos. But when there's really an emergency, a situation where we need to stay safe, he is always pretty calm.
And we really didn't know the extent of the damage that was occurring while this was happening, or to any other RVs in the RV park.
I mean, when they bounce off the car like 2 feet up in the air, no bueno. Yeah, look out there. What do you see? Huh? What do you think?
And getting upset would only take more of a toll on us and not really help the situation.
Hail up to the size of golf balls, it just kept coming, and about halfway through the crashing and the banging, Jamie observed that water was pouring through our skylight that's over our shower, and I started noticing that it was coming through the window frames in several places in the RV.
Well, we just had a snowstorm come through. It's in July. Actually, this is all hail. And it dropped hail for probably maybe 2 hours. You can see all this accumulation. Starlink stopped working because of the storm. It was so thick that it obstructed the Starlink. But where we're sitting in this campground, when I came out the door, it smelled like a Christmas tree lot. Because you have all these trees over here, and all the moisture and everything makes it smell like a Christmas tree lot. Last week we showed you step by step how to remove your RV's windows, inspect for water penetration, and my preference for resealing them.
This week, Jamie tackles the damage that's on the rooftop. He's going to take you through removing and then replacing your RV's skylight cover.
I'll also show you how easy it was to remove our motorhome's max air vent covers and replace them. Hey guys, after the hailstorm last night, came up here to check out the roof and my max air covers. Max air covers are just all cracked and busted. Air conditioning units seem to be okay, but this max air cover is wiped out. So we're gonna have to get some new one of those. Looks like 2 of them. The roof looks pretty good. And then the skylight over the shower. We got a crack. So that's why water was coming into our shower last night. What I'm gonna do as far as the skylight, put some eternal bond on it. So I'm going to put eternal bond over where the crack is, and then also around all the edges just to seal it up. And that's all I have to do up here on the roof. Everything else seems to be okay.
There's still hail down in there. Wow. Really blew apart. What? after the storm, we came back to southern New Mexico, which is our home base, so that we could work on what repairs needed to be done and kind of evaluate everything. Unfortunately, it's been raining really, really severe down here in southern New Mexico. There's been towns that have been flooded out. We haven't wanted to take the skylight off until now because we had no way to protect it from further water getting in. So now, 2 weeks later, is the first chance that we're pretty sure it's going to stay dry today so that he could get that off.
So as you can see, where I put my eternal bond after the storm left, I just put that in wherever the holes were so we didn't have any more leaking. One thing I want to let you know, when you go to order your skylight, you want to get up on the roof, you want to measure the hole, not just to here, you want to measure out to here, because there's a flange that goes around the edge. So you want to measure that from this way and then also this way. The other thing you want to measure is what it is here and here for the inside where the hole is. Those are two measurements that it calls out when you go to order it. I got mine off of Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description for the company for that. First thing we need to do is we need to get rid of all this die-core. So we need to get that all off and cleaned up, and then we can, there's screws in here, so we can unscrew this old skylight, get that pulled off, make sure everything's nice and clean. So I'm going to start doing that. And one thing I want to point out is it's better to do this on a day when it's warm out, because the die core is easier to get off when it's warm out as opposed to when it's cold. And the other thing, you don't want to use anything, I'm just using a putty knife. You don't want to use anything really sharp because it could possibly do damage to your roof. So you want to make sure not to use like a razor blade or anything like that.
It wasn't fully screwed down?
Well, they didn't do every hole.
Right. Well, they do every other hole?
Yep.
They just put screws in every other hole. How chintzy is that? I wonder if that's how it was built.
Yeah.
So during original construction, they didn't put all the screws in the skylight.
No, they skipped every other one.
They only put in every other one. Wonder if putting in every other screw was a budget cutting method, or was it a time? That wouldn't save that much time.
No.
So, but budget cutting across a whole bunch of RVs.
Well, they put 3M double-sided tape.
Oh, there is an inner dome.
Yeah.
Was water getting between them, but it looks like it's solid foam in there like it was on the windows.
Yeah. Foam seal around this edge.
So that's why.
So the foam probably got it and went through the foam. I'm looking at it, it's all dry now. So this is our roofing material, and then there's the plywood underneath it. And I'm looking at it. If there was water damage, it'd be all brittle and whatnot, but it's not. It's the color that the plywood normally is when you buy it. So it doesn't look like water got in there. what it seems to me is when the holes got popped into it, there's a foam edge that goes all the way around the inner dome. And I think what was going on is as the ice came in and melted, it was going through that foam, because that's where you would see where the water was coming straight into the shower, which is a good thing because water takes the path of least resistance, and because it's gravity, it's going to go down. So it doesn't look like it fed into the sides at all, because I'm looking at all the wood and everything. It looks pretty good. So I think we're pretty fortunate as far as that goes.
You're gonna let it dry out for a while?
I'm going to let it dry out a little bit. I'm going to go to the store, because they only put in screws every other one. I want to put in screws around the entire perimeter. So I need to just continue getting this all cleaned up, and then I'm going to head to the store, buy some more screws.
And give it time to dry?
And give it time to dry out. Okay, so what I've done is I've cleaned it all up as best I could. It's still discolored from the stuff that was on there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay myself down a bead of, I'm going to use this Geo Seal. This stuff's really good. It's a flexible sealant. It also works. It's got excellent adhesion. So I'm going to put that. I don't have any of that double stick tape, the 3M stuff to put down below there. And I actually think this is actually going to work better. So I'm going to lay a bead of that all the way around before I put my skylight down. So I'm going to get this opened up, put my bead around there, and then we'll put the skylight on top of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the skylight on top of that. And then I'm going to press down so that my Geo Seal basically sandwiches out. Okay. So now we want to remove our plastic film here. Okay, now that I have my skylight in place, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around the perimeter and put in screws. I went and got more screws because the last one they just did every other hole. I'm going to put a screw in every single hole. So I'm going to do that now. I'm only going to get it down to where it's snug, and then I'm going to hand tighten it because I don't want to crack this thing. Okay, so you can see I got all the screws in now. You can tell I don't have it all the way tightened, but once I put those screws in, you can see where the Geo Seal, that bead I ran around, basically squeezed itself out. So I got a nice wide bead there going around the edge. I'm going to get my screwdriver and I'm going to hand tighten all of those screws. Like I said, I didn't want to do it with the drill motor because I didn't want to risk cracking the skylight. So I'm going to hand tighten all those, and then I'm going to apply Dicor over every single screw, and then put a nice big thick bead all the way around the entire skylight. Okay, now I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to take a screwdriver and I'm going to go around and hand tighten all those screws. Okay, so that's done. All right, so I got the screws all tightened with the screwdriver. Next step is die-core lap sealant. So I'm going to apply that now. I'm going to do a dab over each screw head, and then I'm going to apply my bead all the way around. So this is what I'm going to be using. I'm using the die-core self-leveling lap sealant. And like I said, I'm going to put a dab on each individual screw head, and then I'm going to go all the way around with the lap sealant. Now the reason I'm doing each screw head is I want to make sure that I have a nice, it's sealed. So because when you put the screw in, you create an area where water can penetrate. So if we cover that up with this die core that will level out, you're creating a nice waterproof seal. So I want to make sure to do each individual screw, and then I'll follow around and put my bead around, but I want to make sure this is done first so we just don't have any water penetration whatsoever. Okay, so we have all the screws done, and now what I'm going to do, go completely around it with the die core, put in a nice wide bead all the way around it so that I know we got a good seal. Now that I got the skylight all done, I'm going to replace these Max fan covers. I got the Max Air 2 covers. So if you're ordering these, make sure you know which one works with your vent cover. I'm going to use, let me show you here. I'm going to use the existing brackets that were on here from before. When you order the new cover, it comes with those, but being my brackets are just fine, I'm just going to use those on the new Max Air covers. So I'm going to go ahead and get these pins pulled out and then undo those two bolts, and then we'll get this first one mounted. So as you can see on the new one that I ordered, there's a bag with new hardware and everything. Being that my old hardware is fine, I'm going to use that. One thing I do want to let you know though, you want to make sure when you mount these, you put them on the right way. The fan lifts up this way, so that means you want the vent part here to be on this end here, because when it opens, you want the air to be able to escape and all that. So you just want to make sure when you mount them in the right direction. So I got the first vent cover on. Apparently the old one was a little bit bigger, because the brackets that held it down are actually longer than what the new ones were. So I had to replace the brackets, and then luckily they're in the same position this way, so that all worked out. So this one's in. Now I need to do is just go do the other two, and then we should be all set. So just to show you how easy it is to get these things off of here, you have these things that are like cotter pins, and you just slide these out. There's two on each side. Okay, and then you just pull that off. That pulls off. and we take the new one and put it on there. So we just line those up with the brackets, and then you take your cotter pin okay, and that's how they lock on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other three. And there you go. You can see I got those two in, so it's all locked down, and that's basically what it looks like. Like I said, the front one apparently must have been older or something, because the brackets that hold it down were a little bit bigger. So all I had to do on the front one was change out those brackets with the new brackets, and then put the cover on, and we were good to go. So that's pretty much everything on the roof that the hail did damage to. So we got that skylight wrapped up. We replaced that. We replaced all the max air fans, and hopefully we don't have any hail for for a while, so we don't have to buy any more of this stuff. But that was a good learning lesson for me. I've never done that before, so now I know how to change out the skylight over the shower and change out these max air fans, and changing out the max air fans is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I'll put a link in the description for the max air fans. I got them off of Amazon. I'll put a link for that, and I'll also put a link for that skylight. So you want to go up on the roof, you want to measure around the entire thing, like where the flange is, and then you also want to measure where the dome is, to make sure you're getting the right size skylight. So here's everything all completed. We got the front max air fan cover on there, that cover on there, and then the rear cover on there. Those are all brand new, and then the skylight. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Basically, we got everything that I wanted to get done today. Hopefully, looks like it might rain again today. I'm not sure. When I look at the weather map, they don't know. So, but got this all completed. Dicor should be set up, so we should be good there. And like I said, on the front cap and the end cap and then around that skylight, I am going to put Eternal Bond like I did on the Alpha. So, but that's basically it. I'm going to get cleaned up, and we'll see you on the next one. We hope you found this video helpful. If you did, we'd really appreciate it if you'd share it with your friends and family on social media. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
And ring that little bell, because that way you'll be notified each time we upload more content.
And make sure to leave a comment. That way you could be part of the conversation.
Until next time,
we'll see ya.
ya.